Hey everyone, welcome back to Shade Review. In today's video, we are reviewing the new Burberry Carnaby sunglasses, and the model number here is BE4337. But first, I'll link today's video sponsor, our own website, shadereviewstore.com. The app's the best place to buy designer sunglasses, up to 80% off the original MSRP. Again, our website there is shadereviewstore.com. Check it out. So let's go ahead and pop the sunglasses on face and talk about the dimensions. These have 56mm lenses and a 17mm bridge, and this is the standard and only size of these frames that Burberry produces these sunglasses in, so there's not a larger or a smaller lens size. You're going to be stuck here with the 56mm lens size. Now, as far as the exact colorway that I'm on today's video, these have Burberry's black frames with their dark gray poly-made lenses, which are a polymer lens, so they're not going to be an all-glass lens, which is going to help reduce the weight of the frames. All-glass lenses are obviously heavy, but they're also going to last longer with better scratch resistance, so some pros and cons there. Now, as far as the weight of these frames goes, with the lenses, they come in at only 35 grams, so that's a good average weight, not too heavy, not too lightweight either. If these were to have glass lenses, it definitely kind of throw off the balance, because these 56mm lenses are definitely on the larger side, especially for an all-glass lens, so it's going to add a lot of weight. So right out of the box, they are definitely pretty well balanced and they're very comfortable. So here we can see a really good balance here, even with the larger frames, and then the temples are not too thick there. Now from the front of the frames, you can see this absolutely beautiful black acetate material. It shines really, really nicely in the sun. But if I continue to move to the left, you can see some stripes here, and those stripes are there by design. And I honestly have no idea how this is produced. It's got to be really, really hard. Maybe it's an injected acetate. I'm not really too sure, but what they call this is a 7 multi-layer acetate, creating a rich icon stripe effect along the entire rim of the frames, and that is a signature to Burberry in their handbags and other clothing, and it looks really, really nice. I can feel that there's no seams or anything like that whatsoever between these layers, but these layers are completely solid. So if I were to cut through this pair of frames, you would legitimately see that color throughout the entire of the frame, so it's not painted on, so it's not going to fall off. And again, that's really, really hard to do. I don't know how you do that, honestly. You know, you couldn't do this with a block acetate, I don't believe, unless they've developed a way to make a block acetate with all these very, very fine, perfectly straight layers of acetate. So really, really impressive there, and something you're not going to see often. I've seen this done with nylon before, which is not too surprising, but here it looks really, really interesting, and honestly, it looks really good. Now, these frames also have a metal stem that runs all the way down through the temples, which is going to be really important to help hold the adjustment if you heat up these frames and then give them a custom fit to the face. And they're also attached here to this all metal hinge, which is really important as well. Now these are just a kind of generic Luxottica 5-barrel all metal hinge, and they feel really good when opening up and closing them, but just very standard and nothing too crazy there. Now they also do have these really interesting metal accents here in the top corners of the frame, which definitely add a little bit of an extra pop to the sunglasses. And we can see there is actually a line, and they are perfectly lined up, kind of facing this direction, which definitely adds to the style. Now, because these frames are not clear, I'm not entirely sure if that metal accent is just there for show, if it's just kind of pressed into the acetate, or if it is actually connected to the all metal hinge. I would guess that it's just pressed into the acetate, but I'm not too sure. It looks like it's lined up pretty well to actually be attached to the temple, and there's no way of knowing unless I actually literally physically destroy these frames. So I definitely don't want to do that. And if we take a look at the outside left temple of the frames, you can see they do have a Burberry logo, and it's going to kind of be embedded into the temple, so you can kind of feel it just a little bit, so it has some texture, but it is not a raised logo, so it makes the frames kind of, you know, pretty slick and smooth. It doesn't add an extra bulk, if that makes sense. And these frames are going to be handmade in Italy, and they say that here in the inner right temple of the frame, they say Burberry handmade in Italy. And then here in the inner left temple of the frame, we can see the exact Luxottica core code and model information there. Now, the model number here is 4337F, and the F actually stands for Asian fit or universal fit or low bridge fit. There's a lot of different terms that we use in the industry, but for me and my nose, these fit absolutely perfectly. Very, very comfortable. I really, really do not mind a low bridge fit pair of sunglasses. I know some people with larger noses don't like them, and bigger bridges don't like them, but for me they fit really good, and for most people they fit really good as well. But just keep in mind the F just stands for low bridge, so because of that you're gonna have these larger nose pads, which personally is kind of more comfortable for me. Now as far as coverage from the sun goes, these frames are going to offer okay coverage from sun. So here up top you can see there's a pretty big gap so it's sunlight and unprotected, and then here on the side again there's a massive gap that lets sunlight in unprotected. So overall not the most practical pair of frames, but that's of course to be expected with a square lens Wayfarer style pair of sunglasses. As far as lens quality goes, these just have your kind of standard basic lenses. They are clear, everything is nice, and they're gonna be pretty scratch resistant, but nothing too crazy there. And as far as pricing goes, these are going to run you $268, and that's where these frames get very, very expensive, and personally you're paying a lot for the Burberry name. But honestly, I really don't know how difficult it would be to produce this, so maybe it's not that crazy expensive. But other than that acetate material there, with these stripes and how expensive it might be to actually produce that. The hardware is just kind of generic Luxottica hardware, and they are of course made by Luxottica as well for Burberry. So typically these frames are going to be overpriced compared to a pair of Ray-Bans by about $100, and you're not necessarily getting the best value. Personally, I really do like the style of these, and I really, really like the design elements here with these stripes. I think it looks really, really interesting. But that's all, guys, for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give me a big thumbs up down below, and of course, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and then you'll be notified every single time I upload a brand new video, just like this one, to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.